So I'm doing the rewind with the friends over here in the dark room where Nick usually sits. And it's kind of dark in here, isn't it, Ronnie? It's a little dark. It does. It reminds me of, like, I don't know if you used to watch the show 8 is Enough. Nobody from this. Yeah, never mind. Nicholas Bradford. Hey, so if you could do me a favor, they asked you to talk. Can you do your best Bronny impersonation as you kind of tell us the first part of what's on TexAgs Rewind today?
I have to do my Bronny. Okay.
Yeah.
Go hour with David and Olin. Yeehaw.
I gotta get one more. I gotta get one more. One more.
I gotta thicken up my country accent, but I can't.
All right, go ahead. You can do the second one.
Texans analyst John Harris.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. My name is Ryan Browninger.
I don't know how to respond to that. That's Dalton back there. Hey, hopefully you can hear all of us. That's on the rewind today. We also had Aggie Hoops getting ready for Missouri, big game, and Evan Stewart. Anything else? No?
Probably not.
Recruiting country.
Ryan Browninger.
Just watch.
So you have a problem with all the Brigham Young players for years and years and years that go on to their mission for 2 years and they come back and they're 24 and 25. So you have a problem with that. So you should kick off.
Sean Bradley. Sorry.
So kick all those guys out.
Yep.
I personally don't care if you're 30.
Okay.
If you're in college
and you have eligibility.
Why should it matter?
Right.
I mean, you're going to that school, right? You're going to that college. You're a student. If you're a student, why should it matter how old you are?
Yeah.
In fact, you could say that, first of all, I hate it when they say playing 19-year-old kids. How many 19-year-old guys you think played for TCU and Georgia yesterday on Monday? How many guys that were 19 do you think were actually playing?
If we had our interns here, I'd have them do the stats right now.
I'm sure there's some.
Yeah.
But I would imagine most of the guys playing were 21 to 22.
I'll work on getting those numbers.
It's not that big a deal. But I would imagine most of, so is it really that big a deal? Look, if you're 30 years old and you're a student at A&M,
yep,
and you haven't, you're a student. That's what it's. And you want to be an athlete. You're a student athlete. If I can,
do you have a problem with 6 years of eligibility?
No, well, especially when you consider what they did with COVID.
Right.
Now, if it wasn't for the COVID year, I guess he
wouldn't
would.
have it.
But they gave it to everybody, so accept it. And you're saying, "Oh, I'm okay with him winning it last year, playing it, but not this year."
I don't know the exact rules, but what about guys that are basically done but still have eligibility playing? But dude, they won a game and they showed stone, so I'm kind of conflicted.
Yeah, you think you are. Yeah, it's it's interesting. I thought about this, David, as I was I don't know, just driving and thinking, and I thought back to being a kid, and I was like, I don't remember, or even a teenager. I never remember. I remember one time that I heard the word tanking. And I was like, what, what's that? What's tanking? Like, what is that? And then I realized, oh, it's what the Rockets are doing so they can get Ralph Sampson. And I was like, okay, well, what, they're losing like all these games on purpose? Like, what? It didn't compute. It didn't compute in my mind at all. And I certainly had not seen it in football. And so it just was kind of a foreign concept to me. And I've always been like you, Herman Edwards, you play to win the game. You're always playing to win a game. But it's gotten to be such a different deal because the draft is so big now. And I told this to Mark the other day, Mark Vandermeer, my boss, the play-by-play voice of the Texans. I brought up something that I had learned a long time ago when I was at a private school. And I remember having this conversation with the headmaster. I was the JV baseball coach, and I had all these great players, and the parents were all in my case because I didn't play these people, but I played these people. But, we went 19-2, and yet parents were still complaining. And he said, John, you'll learn as long as you're in private schools that when parents pay for schooling, they feel like they're paying for the guarantee of success. They're not paying for that. They're paying for the opportunity to succeed. But in their minds, they're paying for the guarantee of success. And that got me thinking, people want the number one pick because they feel like that guarantees success, when that is the furthest thing from the truth. It doesn't guarantee success. It just guarantees that you have that opportunity to make that pick, and what you do with it might guarantee success down the road. This is not a draft that, even though I like Bryce Young a lot, and I like CJ Stroud a lot, those two guys are not Trevor Lawrence. They're not Andrew Luck. They're not, they're not Peyton Manning. They're not of that caliber player. And because there's two of them, kind of like there was in 2012 when the Colts picked Andrew Luck over RG3, and when they picked Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf, there are a couple of them. Maybe those are bad examples for us, number two pick. But if the Bears ultimately decide they're going to take a quarterback, or they trade to somebody that's going to take a quarterback, we got an opportunity for the second one. And you just got to do everything you can to make that second player work. But I don't think there's much that separates those two. Bryce is obviously negative, is his size. I don't think there's any question with that. With CJ, I think there were some consistency issues a little bit this year. There were times it felt like he kind of got bored in games. He didn't perform exceptionally well at certain times. He definitely did against Michigan. But when he faced the most athletic and best defense in the country, one that held TCU to 7 points and made it look like a JV offense.
Yeah, it changes the entire landscape of the roster. You add another scoring threat in Dexter Dennis, which that's something that we had talked about. We know he has it in him, but where is it?
Right.
Hey, he's been solid on defense all year long. He's been pretty decent on rebounding all year long, but that scoring power, where is that coming from? Where is it in him, and can he sustain that? I mentioned this yesterday on radio. Is Olin texted me at halftime of the LSU game, and I responded by saying Dexter Dennis is the X factor in this game. And he responded back saying he scored 15 points already. In the previous 5 games, he scored 20 points total.
Combined.
Like that is if they can count on Dexter Dennis to get 10 points a game, it changes. And I'm not saying he's got to score 20 points. I mean, I think he ended up with 17 against LSU. So he scored two points in the second half. But if they can get 10 to 12 points from him, they can get, 15 to 17 from Julius Marble. I don't think that's going to happen on a consistent basis. I think Julius Marble should be around 10 to 12, somewhere around there.
If they could combine for 20 between those two guys?
If they could combine for 20 on average, because, one of them's going to have a better game, one of them might be down. If they can hold themselves up and average 20, that's a huge uplift. That takes pressure off of Boots. That takes pressure off of Wade Taylor. That takes pressure off of Henry Coleman.
Yeah.
It's the waterfall effect of those guys being able to play a complete game, a full game. You love that they can play defense. You want them. That's why Dexter Dennis has been out there the whole year.
Yeah.
But if he adds that scoring to it, it's icing on the cake, and you're going to win some games.
I'm not saying he's going to play in the NBA, but doesn't he look like an NBA player?
Yeah, he does.
There's something about the way he plays and his size.
But it's also his confidence.
Yeah.
And after watching the first practice in the offseason, I came in here and said, you can tell he's an older guy. He's a veteran, because when he walks in the gym, he has that,
there's a presence,
that air about him of, hey, I'm here.
Let's go hoop.
Let's go play. Who's coming with me? And that's what this team needs. And I think that's why you say, he looks like a guy that could play in the NBA. Physically, he's tall, he's long, he's athletic. On that fast break dunk in the first half where he got a steal closest to the scores table.
Yeah.
He went down and dunked the ball. That's the highest I've seen him jump in a while.
So that Alabama play obviously comes to mind often because of just the impact. It kept that drive alive, it kept the chance to win the game. One of the things that I marvel at is his positioning, how to put his body in a position, if it's up in the air, if it's to the side. That is something that I don't know if you can coach that, CT, right?
No, that's pure athleticism, and when you have a guy, I like to say that he's a freak of nature when it comes to those things. I think they say he stands 6 foot. I don't know that he's that tall. He doesn't look that big. Plus, having an opportunity to be in a full off season, to get in the weight room, to get stronger, to get faster if that's possible. The guy has a catch radius that if you throw it around him, he's going to figure out a way to go and get it. And so that builds trust between him and the quarterback that no matter what he does, he's not going to put him in a position to throw an interception or turn the football over. Evan's going to go make a play and be able to sustain drives and to be able to make big plays down the field and turn those into touchdowns. So, man, this guy has a huge upside, and I think he's every bit of as advertised when he came out of high school.
How versatile is he as a wide receiver?
I think he's very versatile. The fact that you have a true freshman that comes in, and from what we've heard, Jimbo's offense is so dynamic and it's so tough to understand. But for him to come in and to be able to learn the offense and to be able to do and make the plays that he did as a freshman, I think he has a chance to do some really good things. I think, being able to play on the outside, whether it's the left side of the field or the right side of the field, be able to move him in the slot. I think now he becomes that person that Anais was, to be able to move him all over the field and create those mismatches. And, him being faster than Anais and getting him on a linebacker or a safety, that creates nightmare matchups for the defense. That creates big plays down the field, and you can see a whole different offense in 2023.
Talking to Chris Taylor here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, his ability to make the catch, right? So Moose has got a knack for making dramatic catches. So does Evan.
Yeah, it's man, you have those type of guys out there. I think it's gonna be that security blanket for Connor. Now he's able to put the ball in their vicinity, and those guys are able to go and make the plays. They're going to go and come down with it. They're going to make those tough plays that are going to be able to sustain drives and to be able to pick up first downs. And then you start adding in your tight ends and having a solid run game, run the ball to set up the pass and all those play action shots down the field. I'm excited to see what Bobby comes in and he's able to do with these skilled guys, because if all of our guys are hitting on all cylinders, we talk about the tight end from Georgia, and we talk about the wide receivers from Ohio State and from Bama. Our offensive skill guys, I think, have the skill set to be able to be mentioned in those same conversations, but they have to be put in the right situations to be able to make those explosive plays and to be able to give our quarterback the shot to make those huge throws downfield.
Kennedy Cavan, I don't know why you used your last name, but I just did. Can you tell the people what to do?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And can you drop a yeehaw?
Yeehaw.
And when Bronny does it.
Yeehaw. Thanks and gig 'em.
Thank you.